It is Monday, April 19th, 2021, 9 o'clock in the morning, and the Kerr County Commissioners Court is now in session. First thing we have on the docket today, I've got public input here. Do we have any public input today? Okay. Commissioners' comments?
No.
Okay. Consideration agenda. 1.1, consider, discuss, and take appropriate action to adopt a resolution supporting the Winter Storm Uri road damage report submitted to FEMA. Charlie Hastings.
Thank you, Judge. As you know, and I'd like for the public to understand that there's been a big scramble been going on ever since the storm hit. There's obviously maintenance that had to take place right away, but an extreme amount of documentation of the damage to our roads had to also take place. Reports had to be put together, filed, and submitted to FEMA. That has happened. Last week there was a phone teleconference that came from I think the Texas Department of Emergency Management Services, working through FEMA, of course, and I think a lot of people came away from that phone conversation very disheartened. They felt like maybe all of our efforts to put reports together to try to get some funding from FEMA, some aid from the disaster, to repair our roads that we feel were damaged 100% only because of the storm. If the storm wouldn't have happened, we'd be fine. They felt like maybe we wouldn't be able to get that, wouldn't be eligible. But they also provided a 65-page guidance document. In this 65-page guidance document, there are 55 pages of pictures. 40 of them are not eligible. These are examples of things that are not eligible. Don't submit them to FEMA. Don't waste their time. And I think that's the reason, it was the purpose of the phone call. They were really trying to clarify that there's a lot of people that have bad roads. They were bad before the storm, and then they think, oh good, we're going to get it rebuilt because a disaster's been declared. Well, if you saw the image of the entire state of Texas covered in snow and ice, you know every county is going to be submitting something. This is not something localized. So FEMA's going to be overwhelmed. So the purpose of that phone call last week was to clarify that there are things that are eligible, and it has to be something that's a direct result of the storm. And the only way you can prove that is if you have really good records. And guess what? We have really good records. That's why we qualified for the CTIF grant. We brought in $92,000 last year to rebuild some of our roads because we had really good records. Those records have been kept by the Road and Bridge Department for decades. So with that, I have put together a sample resolution. I gave it to you. That first paragraph on my agenda backup document that I gave you was kind of a recap from a couple weeks ago when we hired Rock Engineering. I think I make reference to Rock Engineering on that because I just this morning didn't have time to delete it. But here's my take on a resolution I would like for you to consider adopting. Whereas Kerr County adopted the Unified Road System in 1986, and whereas at that time Kerr County had over 200 miles of unpaved dirt and gravel roads, and whereas Kerr County implemented a pavement management system that simultaneously maintained existing paved roads through the application of seal coats and converted dirt roads to gravel and gravel roads to paved, and whereas in 2013 Kerr County completed the task of paving all unpaved roads and became the first county in Texas to do so. That's, I believe, is very key. And whereas in 2016, Kerr County implemented a seal coat program where all roads will be seal coated on a regular 10-year cycle. And whereas the U.S. presidentially declared DR 4586 Winter Storm Uri swept through the Texas Hill Country beginning February 11th, 2021 and ending February 19th, 2021. The storm included freezing rain, snow, ice, sleet, sustained sub-freezing temperatures, repeated freeze-thaw cycles on all roads, and freezing of moisture well below the normal frost line, causing heaving and the disintegration of subgrades and road-based failures on all Kerr County roads, some of which were very well maintained. And whereas FEMA has issued a 65-page road repair guidance document, the purpose of which is to set forth guidance of repairing roads back to pre-disaster function and capacity based on 44 CFR section 206.223, general work eligibility, and section 206.226, restoration of damaged facilities, addressing how maintenance or the lack of maintenance will influence the eligibility of determination. For example, an item of work must be required as a direct result of the declared disaster. And whereas Kerr County has excellent maintenance records of their entire road system, which are normally approved by the court in May of each year, the most recent being the 2019 annual road condition report approved in May of 2020. The report is in compliance with the Texas Transportation Code sections 251.005 and 251.018. However, said report does not take into account maintenance performed in 2020. Again, that was the 2019 report that we approved last year in May. We haven't done the 2020 report. Therefore, be it resolved that Kerr County will submit said 2019 annual road condition report as updated by the county engineer to aid FEMA in their determination of Kerr County's eligibility for federal aid due to damage caused as a direct result of DR 4586 Winter Storm Uri. I don't know if there's anything you'd like to add to this resolution. I think it covers things. Only thing I can think of possibly to add is perhaps add another whereas that a couple of weeks ago we hired Rock Engineering to perform a geotechnical study of our worst roads to let us know what's the best way to rebuild this. So the numbers I initially submitted to FEMA assumed worst case scenarios. We get that report back from Rock Engineering, they may say, hey, you can back off and do this a different way and save a lot of money and revise that number down. I don't know if that's necessary to put that in there, perhaps not, but I think the main thing is that we need a resolution to back up our total package that we send to FEMA. It's due tomorrow. If we can get this resolution approved, put that on the top, we can put all the documentation behind it, including our 2019 annual report with some red lines on it so that they realize, hey, we did work in 2020. I don't think any of the roads we did in 2020 received damage from the storm. I can't remember.
No, the only one that was close to it, I think, was Upper Turtle Creek.
Okay, which was done in 2019.
Yes.
It got damaged, and that was brand new. We spent a ton of money in this one section. We removed a bunch of bad material and brought in extra thickness of base, and it still got damaged in the storm. That proves, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that the issue was that we were sustaining sub-freezing temperatures for multiple days, combined with multiple freeze-thaw cycles on the roads. You may have felt cold when you went outside, but you noticed that the roads, all the ice and the snow was melting. And guess where it was going? Right back in through the cracks that just got created the night before from the first freeze. And then it froze again, and then again, and again. We kept having freeze-thaw cycles, and it just tore those roads up. If we don't do something, we'll lose them completely.
Hey, Charlie, this is Tom Moser.
Yes, sir.
There was also alleged that the Hill Country had a more severe winter storm condition than other parts of the state. I believe that we heard that when we were having the discussion with KPUB and LCRA and that. And I don't know if that would be something you want to add in there as one of the whereas we just had a more severe condition than other parts did.
I think that's right. I believe that.
Okay. Charlie said that he agreed and was going to add some language to that effect.
Thanks.
Charlie, the one thing that kind of hit me wrong, and let me run it by you.
Yes, sir.
Second to the last paragraph, the last of it, where it says, some of which were very well maintained.
Yes.
Some of which?
Some of them weren't. Some of them weren't, and our report shows that.
Okay.
Okay.
It shows
Because I'm making a statement that every road in the county sustained some kind of damage, and they did.
Okay.
Some of them were very well maintained, meaning if you look at our documents, you'll see that we just chip sealed that last year, or 5 years ago, or 7 years ago. I think that when FEMA goes through this, I think the industry standard is they're going to look at anything that was chip sealed in that 7 to 10 year window. And if it was before that, it's going to fall off of,
Sure.
of our list. And we have some on there
Right.
that are before that. We know it was a direct result of this storm. We have really good quality materials that we had been using for a long time. We were using the extra good trap rock and a really good oil. And just here recently, we've seen, because of the oil refineries, they just keep getting more and more refined. The oil we're receiving is not as good as it was 15 years ago, 20 years ago. So a road that was rebuilt 15 years ago and chip sealed, it may still be in really good shape, but FEMA has to use something more standardized, and they'll say 15 years is a long time to go between chip seals. And we'll go, well, you ought to come over here and look at our roads. We don't get those sub-freezing temperatures that you guys get. But
Charlie,
that's just not normal for us.
when you read it, the word some on that last sentence struck me too. Could we say most or many instead of some?
Oh, absolutely, we could.
That's what I was getting at. It just
It's
sounds.
the word some.
Most,
Yeah,
most of which were very well maintained.
Okay.
Yes, sir, that is correct.
okay.
And the other question I had, and I don't know that it really adds much, but under, on the same paragraph, it says, sustained sub-freezing temperatures. We did that, we've had that a lot. What seems very different is including record low temperatures as low as 2 degrees. If we could add that in there, it is right, you know, sustained sub-freezing temperatures, including record low temperatures as low as 2 degrees. That shows that this was it wasn't just a freeze period, it was an extreme freeze period for an extended period of time.
Historic.
Yeah.
And I have heard -5 also, by the way, in the Hunt area.
I don't know, I just know at our house it was 2.
Would we like to use -5, or would we like to
Well,
use 2?
Whatever
If
it's
it's documented someplace,
Something you can verify.
yeah, something verifiable.
2 degrees is verified.
Okay.
From my temperature.
That gives it more teeth.
But I also like the use of the word historic lows.
Historic.
Including
Historic
historic
lows.
record low temperatures,
Record
or
lows.
historic record low temperatures? Historic. Yes, sir.
And the only question I have, Charlie, is we've got the 2019 report that we approved last May,
Yes, sir.
okay? This is April the 19th.
Yes, sir.
The report's due tomorrow, I understand. We got to move quickly.
Yes.
But we're almost to the point of having the 2020 report
Yes.
ready to come before us, right?
Yes, sir.
And so, how far along are we with being able to offer that information to FEMA?
It won't be ready tomorrow because it needs to be
I know.
approved by the court.
I know.
But we can submit it to them next month after it gets approved by the court. First meeting in May.
Okay.
Maybe we could say that in here, that, and when we submitted the 2020 report, as an addendum to the submission.
You could say it after,
Therefore,
well,
at the
you
end?
said that as amended by county engineer on that 2019 report, you read some language that
Yes.
said as amended, and then say as will be supplemented by the 2020 report following approval by the Kerr County Commissioners Court. Does that work for you?
Yeah.
And you can put down there May the 3rd.
As soon as you can get it.
If it's ready, we'll approve it on May the 3rd. That's it.
As soon as you get it, we'll approve it.
yes, sir.
No,
Whatever we need to do.
no rush.
Well, no rush, but we're trying to accommodate, Charlie. So you just tell
Yes.
us, because you have that information. It's just a matter of compiling it
Oh, we do.
and getting it to us.
Right.
And
Absolutely
even
true.
if it means sending something to supplement your initial resolution here and get it to them within a week or two, we want to do that.
So I'll continue to work on this language as we go into the workshop. And are we going to need to take a final action on final language?
I think I'll make a motion that we approve the resolution submitted by the county engineer as may be amended,
To include the proposed revisions for the
yeah,
board.
to include the proposed provisions and authorize the county judge to sign the same.
I'll second that.
So we've got a motion by Commissioner Letts, second by Commissioner Harris to approve the resolution as presented with the suggested revisions.
Yes, And we'll need that by the end of the day today, so it can be submitted tomorrow. Is that right, Kenya? Tomorrow's the deadline.
And just go finalize it. Bring it to
Thank
me.
you.
I'll
Thank
sign
you.
it.
Let me know if you need anything, Charlie.
Oh, so I just did that on an agenda bill. We're gonna need someone to take and type it up on an actual resolution. Is Who would do that? Heather or Jackie? I don't know.
Jody.
Jody? Okay. I'll call Bobby and have him forward it.
She's our resident Mikey.
I didn't keep track of those changes though.
Charlie did.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, no,
Are we on
need to have a
YouTube
vote.
today?
Need to have a vote.
Yes.
Bobby, can you send that to Jody, please? Thank you, sir.
Okay. Any other discussion? Those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay, that's 4-0, unanimous, those present. And that concludes that part of the agenda.